Hola y bienvenidos, soy Danny Walker. Estoy practicando mi español hoy porque soy mexicana, pero yo necesito hablar español. Ayúdame. Welcome to the recap of Miss Universe Colombia. I'm so excited to share this recap, and my goal one day is to be able to share them in English and in Spanish. We're working on that. You can help. And honestly, recapping these really helps me. I feel like I learned so much more vocabulary. So let's talk about it. This looks like the same staging as last year. So I was like, I wish they would have changed a little bit of something up. Granted, I do like the staging. I love how much time we get to see the contestants. And they always have a great show opening. Oh my gosh, I always feel like dancing the samba dancers. Really, really knocked it out of the park. These women, legendary beauty out of Colombia, right? Colombia, Venezuela, just wow. They looked so beautiful in their gold jumpsuits, super cute. Honestly, you could literally wear that for a departure look. Like, they looked so cute. I loved it. I love when we have formers. Valeria was back. She was co-hosting. She always does an excellent job. And I love when we get to see title holders' other talents. And let me just say, just because you're a queen, it doesn't mean you make the best host. She, to me, is exemplary. Like, hosting is her thing. I'm sure she has other talents too, but this is one of the great ones. Let's talk performances. Swim. Antioquia. How do I get my hair that shiny? First of all, I need help. I need products. I need moisture. Anyways, I loved the suit on her. For me, this was easily just a solid performance. Like, she wasn't trying too hard, but she did enough to advance, for sure. Barranquilla. This was good, but there was something about this walk. There was this like subtle bounce to it that was coming off a little bit teen for me, but she is stunning, and she definitely kind of gives me these like, I don't know, in some moments at an angle, she gives me a little bit of like a Zuleika vibe. I don't know if you felt that at all. Bolivar, common comment that I've had a lot for pageants, just watch the mouth movements. You can't just like open too much. She had a really nice spin turn though, and I gotta say, she's really nailing that just like Colombian confidence. Like, there's something about the queens whenever they compete internationally, and I feel like she's had that confidence. Buenaventura, she had a really nice walk. I like the hands on the hips. I will say that when she transitioned into her last pose, she crouched a little bit, like she really bent down as she was getting into that pose in an unnecessary way, so I would have scrapped that. And then she was one of the contestants. I feel like there was this series of them that just winked at the end, and I was like, you know, a wink here or there. We can't have everybody winking. Gali, for me, she was coming across as nervous. Cartagena was giving model. I do feel though that she needed a different facial expression at the end of the runway. Casanare, I felt like she was really withholding her energy in a way that was doing a disservice to her, unfortunately, and boy, they gave her a really close-up shot. Cesar, there were some moments, especially in the beginning, where her arms weren't coordinated with the body, so I felt like that definitely would have affected her score. Joko had great eye contact for me at the beginning, but I will say that there was a lot of sway in the shoulders, too much for my personal preference, and I do feel like she needed more posture, especially at the beginning of that routine. Cordoba, she looked really nervous, in my opinion, and was holding a lot of tension in her shoulders. Willa, great energy. I do have to say that. I do feel that she was overworking the cape. It was unnecessary, but you know what? She was having a good time, and I do feel like she was opening the mouth up a lot in a way that it just wasn't helping the routine. It really wasn't helping her facials, but still, overall, honestly, the fact that she looked like she was having a great time on stage really can help bump up your score, and it can help you get over any of those other little things that might be pulling down a score. Medellin, really pretty. The red hair, honestly, on her, it was making her stand out. I do feel like she needed some more confidence though, more projection of that. And once she was like going in for hand placement, ladies, once you put the hands down, stick them, don't readjust them once they're there. Just lean into it. Nadina was giving confidence to me. I really, really liked her. She had a nice entrance pose. She had some great facial expression changes. She did a great job. Risaralda. So when she walked out with that hairstyle, I was like, I bet that she is gonna pull that hair down. Let me guess. And she did that, but unfortunately I felt like the timing of it didn't add to the performance, right? Like, if you're gonna do some kind of transition, or if you're gonna do some sort of reveal, it has to be timed in the right moment on stage, or with a great moment in the music. Like, that really, really is what makes the effect happen. So yes, she pulled the hair down, but I didn't feel like it really added to anything. She is a gorgeous contestant though, so she definitely got my attention with her beauty. Tomako, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that one correctly, but doesn't she kind of look like Chanel Iman? Is it just me? Just kind of giving me that vibe. One thing I would say for her is that she was really whipping her head back and forth a lot on the runway. Her attention was like here and there. I do think she needed more time at the end of the runway as well, and that the hair could have been polished a little more. Question, is it Valle or like Valle? I can't tell if it's pronounced Valle or like Valle, like a soft J kind of sound. I'm really not even sure. If you can help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. I would love to learn. Now, she for me, gorgeous and super confident, and what a great example of a title holder that is doing just enough to advance. Not overdoing it, not underwhelming. She's right in that sweet spot. Shayna's was there, so I love this. They gave her a nice long interview. We got to hear a lot from her. I was trying to work on my Spanish listening skills. And honestly, it's so nice to have a bilingual queen though, right? I feel like it's not necessary, but it's just a bonus. Now we cut to a top 8, and now we're gonna get into gowns, so I'm really excited about that. So Antioquia, she moved forward as I figured that she would. She was great in swim. So she had a really beautiful walk here. I do feel like the gown choice was okay. I feel like there would have been better options for her, but she really looked beautiful. And gosh, honestly, I loved her. I would love to have seen her advance. I just felt like she was so present and in the moment, and she was really nailing her final look up there and the facial expression. I was a big fan. Willa loved this gown on her, okay? Great choice for her. Her happiness was really shining through. She had a really sweet aura to her. I really liked that. Also, let me just say, from the Spanish that I do understand, the song that the singer was singing, oh my gosh, it was so romantic. I was overcome with emotion. I was getting so wrapped up in the romance of it all. I was like, I need to get back on track. Oh my gosh, I'm over here crying with this song. Just beautiful. Great choice. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe a bad choice, because I was like, get back on track. But either way, I loved it. Barranquilla. Red really pops on stage, but when I saw her, I was like, you know what? I feel like she would have looked great in gold. Honestly, I think she would have looked really, really great in gold with her skin tone. And I will say that for a gown, her face didn't move at all, and I would have liked some facial expression changes. Choco, I think that she went too fast for gown, a little too fast. And also, I really would have liked to have seen her in a sapphire, like a bright blue sapphire evening gown. I don't know, something about that. I feel like I can see her in that. Cordoba, okay, she caught my attention with her entrance in the back. Loved that. But I will say that the gown looked very constricting, and it seemed to inhibit her walk, and it made it just look like she was holding her breath in the dress. So ladies, when you're picking your gown, keep that in mind. You gotta be able to breathe and move. Risaralda, her evening gown, I'm just gonna tell you this, that gown probably looked incredible in person. Just, I can tell by the amount of stones. Unfortunately, on telecast, it does nothing for those types of gowns, and it's just like, ugh, falls flat, kind of boring, honestly. I think that's why so many people are just like, oh, we're the metallics, but let me tell you, if you saw them in person, wow. So I'm sure that that gown really helped her. I don't think that the reveal, once again, really did anything to enhance the performance here. I don't feel like it was super necessary, and this gown also was very reminiscent of Baguio's gown, the Rianne Fernandez style that I've talked about and envisioned. So we have those contouring pieces on the side to give you a waist, but either way, she's still really, really stunning and did a great job with this. Tomoko, once again, looking around, and I feel like that deterred from the performance. Valle, she really knocked this one out of the park for me. Just so at ease, so relaxed, so comfortable. Look at her, she just interacted a little bit with the singer. And this gown too, it reminds me of the style of last year's first runner-up with that neck piece, that dress that was by Nidal. I'm not sure how to pronounce the designer's name. I apologize if I mispronounced that, but reminded me of that designer. And honestly, she just looked like the winner. She was just so beautiful. And notice, because of the gown, because of the arm pieces, she couldn't even put her hands on her hips. This girl won without a single pose. Not a single pose. She just walked across that stage. She was like, I'm just gonna be confident. I can't even move my arms, and I'm just gonna work this dress. And she did it. She did it. She really didn't need much. Wow. And I will say, she was making eye contact with the camera. Yeah, her confidence really shined. Now let's talk about the top 4 and their onstage questions. Shout out to Google Translate for translating this. I just didn't want to burden somebody, and I really didn't have the time to wait for a translation. I needed it instantly. So I think Google Translate's getting a lot more accurate. Doing a great job over here. Risaralda was asked something to the effect of, if you had the opportunity to create a school to highlight the values of human beings, I think 2 human beings, or maybe just values in general to people. In today's world, what would be the 3 most important values and why? It's the important part of the question anyways. She said, "Good evening, Barranquilla. How's everybody? Thank you to Miss Universe for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. The 3 values I would highlight would be the love that comes from God, which is the love of kindness, empathy, and solidarity. The second value would be purpose and perseverance, which we all have. We have to fight for our dreams, and it doesn't matter that we confront each other as long as we are objective and fight for them. The third value would be empathy. As I have said before, which comes from the Lord, where we all empathize and each one of us does our bit to build a united Colombia, a prosperous Colombia that we need so much and that so many long for. But for this, we must know the truth, and the truth comes from Jesus." Honestly, really solid delivery here. She was super confident. She did not sound nervous at all, and she spoke with so much fluidity. I was impressed by that. Wila's question was, if you had the power to change a situation in the world in an instant, what would it be? And she said, "Good evening. Without a doubt, if I had the opportunity to change a situation in the world, it would be what is happening at this very moment with the war in Israel. Because people feel that this is what the world is lacking. Respecting life more, respecting the law to life, to love, and then she said, and the right to respect human rights for each person has touched my heart because it is painful, and there are people who are paying for things that they should not have to pay for." Loved this answer because it was very of the moment, very spot on. Her delivery was confident. She had a great way of sharing this answer with a lot of empathy and compassion. So I felt like overall great job here. Our new queen was asked, "How do you handle pressure and protect your mental health while you strive to compete and win this title?" She said, "Good evening, Colombia. As a woman who has gone through many changes in her body, today I can reaffirm that the only way to be sure of what you are, what you can achieve as a woman, as a man, like any person, is to know your process. No one knows what you have been through, no one knows the pain and everything it has cost you to get here. That is why today I tell you to believe in you. Believe in your purpose, in your dreams. Because about 5 years ago, I never thought I would be in Miss Universe Colombia today, and today I am achieving it. And it is the representation of all bodies, of all sexual orientation, of people with disabilities. Thank you." I think we got a little bit lost in translation there, but she's saying that her being here is the representation of all these different types of people, essentially. So here we have another example of a winning combination. So we have this really great confident answer paired with an overall uplifting message, and this seems to be a winning combo for so many different title holders. Barranquilla. What would you say is the most important quality that characterizes successful people? She said, "Good evening, Colombia. Good evening, universe. I am sure that one of the main characteristics of successful people is discipline." And people cheered. Very true, I think. "It is not every day that we feel like getting up and continuing fighting, but it is discipline that pushes us to get up, to be persistent, to not give up. Thank you." Now here, honestly, to me, is such a great example of a shorter answer in comparison to the rest, but still a powerful answer. So she was to the point, a little bit more concise, but she had a really, really strong and passionate delivery in it. So this still would have scored really well with me. And I feel like in terms of short answers, this is how you do it. Here are our results. Third runner-up was Risaralda. Second runner-up was Barranquilla. First runner-up was Wila. And our winner was Valle. Congratulations to the new Miss Universe Colombia. Now here's how I felt about this overall performance, and also other just random side note, why do these winners always have such great eyebrows? Just amazing, amazing. I was not blessed with that. Let me just say, overall performance wise, I feel like she was the clear winner. Yes, it can get a little bit murky in that top 4 with the questions. That can of course be quite a bit subjective, but she stood out so much, and to me was the winner of swim and gown, that she just needed a decent answer for the top 4, honestly. It was enough. It was enough to win the crown in a way that for me, she would have been a really easy pick if I were on that judging panel. So I get it. I feel like I can relate to those results of her. I think she did an awesome job. I'm really excited to see her journey for Miss Universe. It's gonna be, honestly, it's gonna be a tough year. It's always a tough year, and these contestants, they still have so much time. They still have so much more room to grow, and we got a lot of queens yet to be crowned. So I'm excited to be following all of their journeys and then be sharing about my overall favorites and new episodes as well. But if you have other episodes that you want to see on the channel, let me know in the comments. Let's always be kind and encouraging of one another. Let's not forget that. That is the most important. And if there's any pageants that I haven't recapped yet that you would like to see, let me know in the comments as well. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you very soon.